Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video we're going to be talking about the all-new fully electric Toyota Tacoma, the 2024 Toyota Tacoma fully electric. So in the first part of this video we're going to talk about what we know so far on the truck. Then we're going to get into a little bit of speculation, sum things up with whether or not I think this vehicle is going to be worth it. And this should be a pretty quick video because you guys will see, but anyways, let's get into it. Okay, so first off, this is most likely going to be a 2024 model year vehicle. I made a video a few months ago about the new Tacoma that's coming out for 2024 most likely, and so it sounds like this will come out alongside the new Tacoma. So we'll get a fully redesigned Tacoma, and then we'll get a fully electric Tacoma, so it should be pretty exciting stuff. And so this will be built off of the same platform as the new Tacoma most likely, but obviously for a fully electric vehicle they do have to change quite a few things, because typically, right, unlike a combustion engine car, they don't just throw the whole powertrain right under the hood. They have it throughout the car, right? You've got the electric motors on different wheels, and then you typically have a battery pack somewhere in the middle of the car for weight distribution purposes, because it's like the heaviest thing in the vehicle. So there's quite a bit of stuff that has to happen from that perspective. Then obviously they have to kind of change some of the structure of the chassis and everything so that it's properly rigid in the right places. So it'll probably be built off the same platform, but there is going to be substantial changes to make it so it works. And that's something that like Ford did with the Lightning, right? Is Lightning looks like an F-150 and it shares some sheet metal with the F-150, but there's a lot that they changed to make it so that the F-150 Lightning works and can handle the power and can handle the weight that's associated with being a fully electric vehicle. Now, aside from that, there is really not a whole lot else from a spec perspective. We know with what Toyota's done so far with their fully electric vehicles that it's probably at least going to have 200 miles of range, maybe 300 plus miles of range, pretty standard for the segment at this point. And, from a payload and towing capacity perspective, Toyota's going to make sure that it's similar to the regular Tacoma, so you're not giving up anything by going to the electric truck, right? Because sometimes that can happen where you go over to the electric vehicle and not only do you have to deal with range anxiety because it's electric, but then it's not as capable, right? And that's what a lot of people are worried about with trucks, and so it sounds like Toyota is going to spend a lot of time to make sure that's not the case. Now, from a pricing perspective, this is where things might be a little bit disheartening for you guys. It's probably going to be quite a bit more expensive than the regular Tacoma, right? The regular Tacoma starts in like the $20,000 range, like high 20s for a base model, and then fully loaded, it's just over $50,000. Whereas this fully electric Tacoma might start, as low as somewhere in the 40s, but it could start as high as somewhere in the $50,000 range, because a lot of times when automakers release a fully electric vehicle, they release it only with the higher up packages, not with the base model packages for the initial release. And so whereas with the regular Tacoma, you might be able to get a base model SR, two-wheel drive truck, with this fully electric one, you might only be able to, the starting package might be like a TRD off-road, or might be something like a limited, right? And so the price might be substantially higher because you won't be able to get it with higher packages. We'll see what happens with that. And aside from that, I talked about this in the regular new Tacoma video, where I talked about the changes that are most likely going to happen for the new Tacoma. So this will probably also adopt a similar suspension setup to the new Tacoma. Obviously with the new Tundra, they did the 5-link coil suspension. That'll probably carry over into the new Tacoma and probably carry over into this electric vehicle as well. Obviously, the suspension will have to be changed a bit because this electric version will be heavier than the gas-powered version. So we'll see what they basically come up with to be able to figure that all out. But aside from that, it's also going to get like the interior changes with the new Tacoma. So if you guys have seen my reviews on the new Tundra with the interior and everything, kind of expect that interior, but then kind of smaller, and that'll be put into the new Tacoma basically, and that'll be put into this new EV Tacoma as well. And so yeah, I mean, I'm excited for it, and I guess my thoughts on this is I'm all about it. I think that selling a gas-powered vehicle that's the same as an electric vehicle side by side is a really smart decision, because you're going to have the buyers that just aren't ready for electric cars yet. But obviously we have the new emissions restrictions that are getting stricter and stricter every single year. And so having that available, right, to help meet EPA ratings, but then also slowly kind of get buyers used to electric vehicles, because, in the probably not so far future, everything that's being sold is going to be fully electric, and so it'll keep buyers with the brand, but like I said, it'll slowly kind of get them used to it, because what will probably happen is they probably won't sell a lot of these fully electric Tacomas initially. It'll probably be just a few, but then people see the new generation Tacoma, and then they'll be like, wait a second, there's that electric version. I could, maybe save a little bit of money instead of paying for gas, and I won't have to worry about oil changes anymore. And I kind of like the looks of it, and I kind of like the idea of having instant power and torque, right? And so it'll kind of slowly be there, and I'm sure people will go to the dealerships, and once there's actually inventory, right, they'll be able to look at them side by side, drive them side by side, all that kind of stuff. And so I think it's really smart that Toyota's doing it this way. A lot of other manufacturers will just release a whole new vehicle, like that's what Ford did, right? They took an existing vehicle, turn it into an SUV, right? The Mustang Mach-E, but right, that was a completely different approach, right? It's releasing an all-new vehicle. It's different from everything else in the lineup, and so some people are like, yep, nope, I'm just going to stick with the regular Ford, and other people are like, oh, I'll try out this new electric Ford. Whereas I think if Ford, and I'm not saying the Mustang Mach-E is not a great vehicle, because I love it, but I think if Ford would have taken an already existing SUV and then basically turned it and had like an electric version, I think that you might have gotten a little bit more carryover there, but that's just my personal opinion. Again, I don't want this video to be too long. That's what we know so far on this fully electric Tacoma. Once I get more information, I'll make more update videos. But if you're stopping for the first time, please subscribe, and I'll see all of you in the next video.